let's jump into the first topic. And this is a news story that popped up in the past week or so. And I feel like Bad Bunny has had these conversations. I mean, he has them consistently because he is a big fan of WWE and wrestling in general. And again, one of my favorite. I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't want to call him a celebrity wrestler, but technically that's what he is until he signs full time. Like I feel like Logan Paul I can call a wrestler because he has an actual, contract and all that. But anyway, he recently was interviewed with Rolling Stone, and Bad Bunny, who's I think he's around our age, he's like 30. He said he's prepared to return to the WWE ring, despite his mother's concerns. He said he wants to compete again even after his four previous appearances. I didn't realize it was four. So he said, I want to do it one more time. I want to put my life at risk in the ring. I felt like I didn't risk it enough in the ring, and I want to do it. I want to scare my mother. When? I don't know. He said, we stay in contact with the people at WWE. We're always paying attention to what's going on. But when, I don't know, I hope there's a time where I can really get ready like I did the last few times. And I'd love to take more time to get ready physically. But man, just like in music, I do this to get better and to do something different. Sometimes I say I'm going to quit everything and just do wrestling full time. I feel like in wrestling, I just go sporadically as a celebrity. I'm going to go full time and be a heel. That's what I love. I was always a fan of the villains more than the good guys. Now, with that, what do you guys think of Bad Bunny and his performances? For those of you who have seen his four appearances, what do you think of Bad Bunny in WWE? Would you want him to come back and do another match? David?
I feel like he has the track record to be welcome back. So,
Yeah.
like, I definitely think, I think that he'll continue to like knock it out. Like, he did stay at the Performance Center for a while for his first match. I think it was like 4 months. He did like a whole camp, just being a wrestler. So, like, he kind of knows what he has to do, and it's like, I mean, resource wise, he has the resources, and so does WWE. For somebody like him to be able to come in and like maybe not do all the house shows, but knock out a couple house shows. I mean, it'd sell out a house show in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think of his matches, the ones that you've seen?
I think each one he got progressively better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like the backlash match in Puerto Rico, a really good example of like he can actually like do it. Like, that's not an easy match to put together.
That was the last one, right?
Yeah. Like, just being able to knock out all those spots, and even like that's a lot of like high impact for somebody that doesn't do this.
Right.
But even be able to go like 25-30 minutes interference or not, like.
Yeah, I mean we had Coda Hernandez, who's a current freelance legacy champion. It's a local indie wrestling or company. I mean, he describes how it feels to slam your back on the ground and just the impact and what it feels like when you're when you're training for the first time. I mean, I can't imagine, like you have this global superstar who is in the top like 5 to top 10 like singers on Apple Music and Spotify at any given time in the past. I'm gonna say, I mean, is it a decade? I feel like he's been around for quite a bit.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, at this point, he's been around for a decade. I mean, he doesn't have to do this. Like, just that description of like the training and what you have to go through. Like, this man is making millions and millions and millions of dollars. He doesn't have to do this, but he chooses to. And clearly he wants to take it to the next step. And he says he wants to scare his mother. I mean, God bless him. If he feels like he wants to do something crazy like a Shane McMahon off a Hell in a Cell to an announcer table, or, I mean, I don't know, get hit with more weapons and things in more creative ways. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, good television. And I hope he gets the right training. And I guess if you're injured and you can't move, I mean, you still have your voice, so it's not like you have to move. So I don't know. But Chris, what about you? What do you think of Bad Bunny, his matches? Do you think it's a good idea? Would you want to see him again?
I imagine there's some kind of a behind the scenes that him, because I mean, like just him being a pop star, stars benefit WWE have a person like say he wants to do time thing or just
So he's mused the idea of like quitting everything and just wrestling full time.
imagine
I could see it.
imagine Logan Paul versus what Bizarro World.
I'd see that. I'd pay to see that. I know there's like this purity test and all that kind of stuff, but if you're like Logan Paul does put in the work too, and so does Bad Bunny. It's not like you know a Snooki or a who's the guy who said Summerfest. Either way, I think he was in Super Bad. Oh, but Jeremy Piven, I think that's what his name was. And like people who just come in to get a paycheck, do a crossbody, don't even know the product because they just they literally don't know the name of like one of the biggest shows of the year. Like that, I can understand the complaints and people complaining about it. But when it comes to like these two specifically, it almost feels like celebrity involvement has like evolved a bit in wrestling in general. Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, like these feel like back to back in this era. Like there hasn't been that kind of celebrity. I feel like who takes this so seriously ever. I don't think like you have like appearances from like Mike Tyson and that kind of stuff. I think he had a tag team match if I remember correctly in like 2018 or something. And I mean he was obviously special guest referee and all that stuff, but I mean this is a different beast. This is like we're involved in storylines. We're there for the long haul. We make multiple appearances. They keep coming back. I mean I would be happy to see Bad Bunny wrestling again and, make it full time. Screw it. If you feel like your creative juices, you can maybe like take a break out in music and then do this for like a year or two or three, do a short term contract, go back to music or hell yeah. I mean, maybe you'll come up with something interesting while you're wrestling, if you have writer's block. I mean, the world's his oyster. He can do whatever he wants.
Chris
Honestly.
Jericho does it on a smaller scale.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's on a much smaller scale, but he does it on cruise ships and bingo halls. But I mean, Chris Jericho. Yeah, I mean, but he was. He's yeah, like you said, balancing it. Yes, Chris Jericho does that. Obviously, he was a wrestler first, and then he was interested in becoming a rock star and all that fun stuff. And Judas is a good song. I mean, can't deny that. But yeah,
the Bad Bunny diagram.
you're talking about like how many fans of Bad Bunny are also wrestling fans?
Yeah.
Like almost
I
a
wonder-
full circle.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap.
yeah.
Because I was just curious, like how many new
I'm sure there's some. I think there's like the morbid curiosity crowd where they're like, I like Bad Bunny, and what he's gonna be wrestling in Puerto Rico or whatever in a hardcore match. I'm just gonna check it out. And then I'm sure there's some who retain that level of interest and then keep watching. But I don't know. I think maybe David, you're right. Maybe it's a pretty big. If we look at a Venn diagram, that middle part might be pretty big. I also think he probably does bring in some new fans, and that morbid curiosity, I think, travels with him too. Because I mean, his fan base is huge. Like globally, he gets listened to a lot. So he reaches a lot of people. So it benefits him because he's living out like his boyhood dream, and WWE because look at all the new eyeballs and the prestige, because it's not like, oh, here's Kid Rock coming out, like look who we have for WrestleMania. Like this is like premier prestige, you know what I mean? Like it's a different ball game. So more of
It's
that.
kind of like if they would have gotten like Michael Jackson in the
Exactly. It's the equivalent of like Michael Jackson, like
Literally
just
had that
wrestling full
or
time.
Santana Jackson.
Yeah, we got Santana Jackson. Yeah, I mean that's a great point. It's literally like that level right now. So, what about you, Andres? Thoughts on Bad Bunny? What do you think? You want to see him again in a ring?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like I honestly only seen the other match of his when he was in Puerto Rico when we saw that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But I was like very impressed. I was not expecting him to basically be like one of the best performers, like that's not a wrestler, but actually
Mhm.
wrestling and do like such an amazing job. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
No, he can throw down, and to hear that he does all the work and stuff, and he's that big of a fan. He's super passionate. Like he can definitely bring a lot to the business. And like we were talking, like the crossover of the fans. Maybe people just tune in just to watch to see him, and then end up leveling the entire show and then becoming fans of wrestling as well. So no, I'd definitely be interested to see him. He might even be at the Rumble for all we know.
Now I mentioned
Oh, cool.
his dedication being pretty unique when it comes to celebrities and celebrity involvement. Can you guys think of anybody besides Logan Paul who has that kind of commitment to wrestling? Is there anyone who matches that enthusiasm and involvement?
David Arquette, baby, was in
Well,
Indy.
Yeah, I say he did do an indie run, and it was
that's true.
later. Yeah,
That's true. I guess that's a good point. I mean, like when he was doing it's called Ready to Rumble, the
yeah.
movie? Yeah. So he was actually a wrestling fan, right? Or
Oh yeah.
so I mean, he's
that was a shoot. That when he freaked out in the movie, that was a shoot.
I mean that's a good point. I guess that's one unique example. Was there anybody else? I guess
Guy in the 80s.
oh, you're talking about that one who's basically like living kayfabe his whole life. The one who fought Jerry Lawler,
Oh, Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. There you go. Yeah, I don't know if it was the '80s. I think it might have been the '70s, right?
The
Something like
Miz,
that.
does the Miz count?
Yeah, a while ago. I don't know.
Yeah, that's another good one because yeah, I
Reality
guess
star
that
turned wrestler,
who.
the Miz.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that would be considered celebrity because, like,
He's the A-lister. What are we talking about?
when I came back in 2006, like, I just saw him as a wrestler. Like, I didn't know his background or anything like that. So, like, I just saw him as a wrestler first. But I guess if you have that context of him being in the real world, and I mean, it was like a season, like a season of the real world. I mean,
He got that MTV cheese when it was good, man.
Yeah, they churned it out. Like I think his episode was like, or season was like what 2000, 2001 or something like that. So
That's peak.
yeah, that is peak. So yeah, that's fair.
My
But, like, I
uncle
feel
knows
like-
who he is because of
Yeah,
that.
I mean he made it a full-time career. I'll give it to you because I'm like debating like, does he count as a celebrity? Yeah, I guess so.
He's the A-lister.
Reality show guy, Flava Flav, Flavor of Love. I mean, Nikki and Brie Bella. I mean, they became reality stars after they were wrestlers, right? That's not the same thing.
What if we go back like really far back? Like, what about Mr. T? He wrestled, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, but
Hogan?
well, I guess
He was-
I'm
he was, like-
asking in terms of dedication. So, do you know how I mentioned one-offs? Like, I guess Mr. T had that tag team match, but I don't know. Like in terms of his dedication and enthusiasm for the product, I mean, I'm uneducated about Mr. T's like, passion for it. I don't know, like, because like for me, I thought I treated him like, other celebrities who are involved, but it's not like, he grew up watching it or he just liked the, the whole song and dance of the whole thing, like
Mickey Rourke.
if we had a tier list, I wouldn't put him on the same tier as Bad Bunny or Logan Paul. Let's throw the Miz in there because I mean, I guess so. Yeah, who'd you mention, Chris?
Arquette.
I said,
Just now, you just forgot in 10 seconds. Someone catch the replay. Do we have a replay button? But that's pretty good. Those are some good examples. I totally forgot about David Arquette, and again, like, and this he did like indie stuff like recently, right? Like not that long ago.
Yeah.
I don't think. Freddie Prinze Jr. also is a pretty big fan. I don't know. Did he do any wrestling? I don't know if he did.
Writer.
What's that?
He's a writer.
Oh, he's a writer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he still is, but I definitely know that he wrote for them, and he was involved in a lot of like announcing broadcast side of WWE, producing stuff. So he's another one who's like that generation, like David Arquette, who is a big fan of wrestling,
I said,
which is always cool to see. Oh, Mickey Rourke, yeah. I still wouldn't put him as like a Bad Bunny tier. I think he appreciates the craft because I mean he was in a movie called The Wrestler, and he had to understand and learn the the product and what goes into it and that kind of stuff. I don't know if he was always a fan. I think he developed appreciation for it during the movie. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe someone in the comment section can correct me, but I still wouldn't put him in that same category because he wanted to wrestle, and then I think his agent said he shouldn't because it would affect his Academy Award or Golden Globe chances. And he didn't do it. I think he got it and got like a punch into Jericho, but I don't think he actually did the match. I don't think.
was it
Oh, Stephen Amell.
He did have an indie run to it. Yeah, I don't know if he's.
That's true, and he was doing stuff with AEW as well. He does stuff with WWE. So wrestling in general, I think he's a pretty big fan. I think he was also on Heels. He's in that show Heels, wasn't he? That I think is on Netflix. They did for like 2 seasons and then they canceled it. But that's another good one.
CM Punk.
Yep. I might actually watch it because I just saw it on Netflix the other day. But good examples. Good examples. So there was another thing that he talked about wanting to be a heel. Do you think that could work for Bad Bunny as a heel? I don't even know what that would look like.
He'd have to surround himself with
It's scum.
Entourage.
Bottom of the barrel heels. Yeah.
somebody like that, some kind of a weird.
Yeah.
Well, do you think he'd be like a chicken shit or like a Triple H, like like heel? Yeah. So do you think he could pull it off if he wants to be a heel? Do you think he'd be successful in doing something like that?
How good is English?
That's perfect. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing it. I mean, there are plenty of people who I didn't think can pull off being a good heel, like Kofi Kingston. I got proven wrong about that recently. That they're literally like money. Like I just saw their Raw stuff that they did. He has a match with Rey Mysterio. You guys can watch it. Yeah, today. And JBL is on commentary.
I'm sure he's happy about today.
Well, Rey Mysterio is also the one who retired JBL, so like they made it a whole thing segment. But yeah, definitely watch that whole segment. Now with the beauty of Netflix, you can just fast forward to it, and when it's done recording, you don't get the ads; they all disappear if you catch the replay. So I think we could end that there, and we can move on to our main segment, which is the Royal Rumble. It's coming up on February 1st in Indianapolis. And I think it's one of, if not my favorite wrestling event of the year, because it's always fun to see who shows up, the maneuvers that people do in the match. The energy is always great. And I always, it's just a good time. And then we also do our own little lottery thing, so the stakes get increased too a little bit, because there's money on the line. So it adds another layer. No, we're not betting cryptocurrency this year.
Unless it's Bitcoin.
Yeah, is
One
Bitcoin? Are people doing Bitcoin like betting on the Rumble?
or something.
Us.
Us, you.
Us.
Do we
Don't
need like
worry.
a specific wallet or something? Like, not doesn't everyone need
We'll
like
figure
a?
it out.
We'll figure it out afterwards.
Yeah, off the air. We'll figure
That's
it
how
out.
we roll. We're more of an ideas kind of guy. So Royal Rumble. I mean, what do you guys?